Hello, I am David from OmniFish, and I want to tell you quickly, before I forget everything, what we have done for GlassFish in last 2 years. First, I believe GlassFish 7 is the best GlassFish which was released in last 10 years, and it's because we spent pretty much time with that. Last year, I have created company OmniFish together with Ondro and Arjan. You probably know them from conferences and GitHub and all those projects around Jakarta EE. And I was always somewhere around too. Our company provides support and consultancy for GlassFish, Jakarta EE applications, and also develops its own Piranha Cloud implementation. And now quickly, because I want to end in 15 minutes. This is our contribution. You can see that GlassFish is moving quickly. And yeah, you can see OmniFish spent pretty much time with that. First, what I did, one of first things was that I visited all sources with my bash script and cleaned up all trailing spaces, tab characters, and so on. That was it for GlassFish 6. Then I created this huge issue because I found that most tests were disabled, or many tests were disabled. GlassFish used mostly TCK tests to check its quality, reliability at least. It used JUnit4 and TestNG. So in this issue, I converted everything to JUnit5, except those really old AND-based tests, which I at least fixed some of them. Then I added Jacoco and Jacoco merge profiles, so I can see test coverage in Eclipse. Maybe I will show you later. Then, as I said, all JUnit 1 to 4 tests were converted to JUnit 5. And some people hate me because I'm making large pull requests, but it's unavoidable. You can create small pull requests, and yes, it's always better, but you can't do that on code with such huge technical depth where you touch one thing and another 100 things breaks. Okay, that's why I'm doing that. From one stable point to another, and there's a path between them. With Jersey, I have fixed some tests and implemented another, so I was able to verify that Jersey passes HTTP2 tests from another project. I forgot details about it, but it was quite important thing. Then what we did, fixed generators on JDK 11 and tests. Yeah, there's tricky thing. Security manager which will die soon. JDK currently has stronger and stronger rules about visibility and accessibility of classes from other modules, and we have to respect that. And GlassFish didn't, as usual, because GlassFish generates some classes on the run, and they have to respect that. Yeah, somebody contributed. Yeah, I've fixed starting embedded GlassFish, and immediately after that, somebody else contributed in another PR and fixed some tests and other things in embedded. So we are moving forward. Here is another thing I always hated, you probably too. When you start GlassFish and some of ports are used, it just crashes without telling which port is blocked. So this is fixed. Maybe some 100 or so other similar issues were fixed, especially in starting and stopping GlassFish. Zombie test. I call it my zombie army because all these tests are obsoleted, ugly, unmaintainable. I can tell maybe 100 not nice words about them. Simply said, now they are at least useful because they work. They can verify that something works. And we plan to transform them to more modern tests. Here, generating EJB tests. This is the class generator. Is my child. The trick here is that you have to respect JDK rules about module visibility. You can't simply access the generated classes from other protection domains, modules. I'm forgetting. Currently, I don't remember everything, but all things related now work on JDK 11 and JDK 17. And we plan to move forward to JDK 19, 20, 21, 21 is sure next target. Then we fixed documentation. You know how looked old documentation. It was this one ugly thing with broken links. I think I will not find any broken link now, but you will probably. Now it looks this way. It's less fragmented, but you can still use some searching. Main. We fixed also links, but I think you can still find some which are broken. This one worked. Okay. Yeah, the content still needs to be updated, and we welcome contributions from anyone. Nucleus tests. Nucleus tests were disabled, and I have transformed them to JUnit5, and I think there's quite nice example how can you use GlassFish in tests these days. No Arquillian, no complications. You can just start and ensure that domain stops after tests, and you have full control over it in tests. Maybe I will show you later. Then GlassFish Java Util logging. I think this is the most important thing. Everyone hated GlassFish logging, right? And so GlassFish 7 has probably the most powerful logging available now. It is based on Java Util logging, but it has own log manager, and it's slowly transforming to system logger. So currently, I think it's still not possible to replace it with another implementation, but after we end with system logger transformation, you could probably use whatever you want. Logback, log4j2, whatever. Also, the new module has, I think, nearly 90% test coverage, and I know about one bug. Then we refactored JNDI names and did some cleanup in sources. You can see it's a huge pull request with many changes from one state to another. And until now, we don't have any issues reported, which is kind of weird since it's working. And then omni-concurrent refactoring to remove. Temporarily one of contributors developed own implementation of the new concurrency, but for some reason it hesitated to make it public and available for GlassFish. So after some days and weeks passed, I've decided to implement it on my own, resuscitated old implementation in GlassFish and passed tests. I think it's much better than any other implementation, but maybe I'm not right. You have to tell me. Create issues, test, and report anything you will find. We will fix that. Another thing, concurrency and DOL, deployment. I forgot what does it mean. Something with deployment. Deployment is still slow because it's based on the DOM model, which is quite obsoleted in Java. There are other ways to do it, but in this case, it is already really awful and complicated to move it forward. So now we released version 7.01. It is in Maven Central. It compiles, runs on JDK 11 to JDK 19. Ariane says, okay. I didn't try. I'm mostly testing with JDK 17, and this is probably all I wanted to tell. Now there's yet admin UI, which was contributed by our contributors Andrei Pinchuk and Fujitsu, and you can find everything on GitHub. Yet in this version, I have revisited WebApp class loader, fixed maybe 4 bugs inside it, and fixed some race conditions, redundancies, tried to optimize it a bit, and so we have now next generation and again moving forward. So we would be happy if someone could sponsor OmniFish in this quest, and also you can buy our services or write us a letter or something. So see you next time, maybe with more meaningful presentation, but this is just the beginning. Bye.